Emma looked perfect on the outside, but her husband hid her behind closed doors, even in public. One day, she stopped smiling and did something that shocked everyone, including him. Stay tuned because you are about to watch a story of strength, revenge, and unexpected love. Can a broken man earn a second chance? Can real love rise from pain? Hello, family. Welcome to Storytime Mutually. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share this video to your friends and loved ones. Your support and engagement encourage me to post more videos. Thank you as you do so. Sit back, relax as we dive into the story. Emma Harris always smiled. Her smile was her mask. It was wide, warm, and practiced. People said she had the perfect life. A beautiful house, a smart wardrobe, and a husband, Michael Harris, who everyone respected. He was rich, confident, and owned one of the top construction firms in the city. At parties, Michael would wrap his arm around Emma's waist and say, "My wife is my peace." She would laugh softly and nod, even though deep inside, she wanted to scream. The truth was ugly. Behind that grand house, behind the fancy cars and expensive perfumes, Emma lived in fear. Michael didn't need a reason to hit her. One night it was because she cooked spaghetti instead of rice. Another time, it was because she wore red lipstick to a meeting. He said it made her look cheap. He slapped her across the face right before stepping into the boardroom. And yes, he hit her during meetings too. Once, she handed him the wrong file in front of 2 clients. He smiled at them, then leaned over and pinched her thighs so hard she bit her lip to stop from crying. Another time, he kicked her under the table just because she interrupted him by accident. What's worse? No one said a word. People looked down at their coffee or pretended their phones rang. Some even laughed nervously like it was all some weird joke. One man whispered to Emma once, "You okay?" But before she could answer, Michael's hand landed on her back, too firm to feel safe. Still, Emma smiled. Every morning, she'd wake up, look at herself in the mirror, cover her bruises with makeup, and say out loud, "Smile." People love the smile. But Emma wasn't a fool. She noticed things, like how Michael never really paid attention during business calls, how he forgot passwords, how he left his laptop open with emails unread. He acted smart but didn't know the first thing about how the company ran. It was his father's business, and Emma, quiet little Emma, was the one who kept things from falling apart. Once, in a staff meeting, he tried to show off by using big words he didn't understand. "Let's synergize our financial quadrants," he said with a proud grin. Emma blinked. The staff stared. One assistant nearly choked on her water. Later, Michael shouted at Emma for embarrassing him with her silence. She apologized as always. But that night, as he snored beside her, Emma stared at the ceiling and whispered to herself, "One day, not today, but one day, I will stop smiling." That thought alone helped her sleep a little better. The next morning, Michael was already downstairs yelling at someone on the phone. Emma moved like a ghost, slow, quiet, careful. She wore long sleeves, even though it was warm. She made him breakfast, placed the plate on the table like she always did, and left the room without a word. "Where's the coffee?" "You know I hate eating without coffee," he barked. "It's on the counter," she said calmly, not looking back. She didn't flinch anymore. She was tired of flinching. That day, while Michael went off to one of his big man business lunches, which mostly involved him pretending to understand spreadsheets, Emma sat at the dining table with her old laptop. She opened a new tab and typed, "How to secretly build your own business." Click. Then, free online finance course. Investing for beginners. Women who escaped abusive marriages and became bosses. She read, watched videos, took notes. She learned about company shares, silent partnerships, and how to create a separate bank account. She laughed once, really laughed, when a video coach said, "If your man is trash, don't argue. Just upgrade yourself and take the bin out quietly." That line stayed with her. Emma wasn't just learning money. She was learning herself. At night, when Michael snored like a tractor, she studied. When he traveled, she networked online. She joined groups under a fake name, Anna Bloom. She even practiced fake smiles in the mirror, different from the usual ones. These were cold, powerful, silent smirks. One day, Michael left his work laptop open. Emma wasn't even trying to snoop. She just walked by and saw his screen. Emails unread, reports unsigned, clients complaining. She blinked. This man doesn't even know his own company is slowly falling apart. That's when it hit her. She was the real brain behind everything. She had been doing damage control for years, fixing deals, following up with clients, correcting his mess, without realizing she was the one holding everything up. And now she was learning how to build her own empire. But it wasn't all smooth. One afternoon, while pretending to clean his office, Emma accidentally sneezed and knocked over a shelf. A book fell. Behind it, a photo of Michael and another woman, young, tall, very blonde, very not Emma, at a beach resort. The date? Last weekend. Her hand shook. Not because he cheated. She wasn't even surprised. It was the insult of it. He beat her, ignored her, and still had time to cheat? She picked up the photo, looked at it for a long second, then calmly put it in his underwear drawer. Let him find it and wonder. That night at dinner, she smiled so sweetly, he actually paused with his fork midair. "You're quiet today," he said, chewing steak with his mouth open. "I'm just thinking about our future," she replied. He nodded, not knowing she meant hers without him. Emma cleaned her plate slowly that night, watching Michael chew like a wild goat. She had placed the photo, him and his side chicken swimwear, right under his socks. He hadn't found it yet, but he would. She almost wanted to be there when he did, just to see his face. "Our future," she'd said with a sweet smile earlier. Oh, the future was coming. The next morning, Emma wore a soft blue dress, tied her hair back, and walked into the company like she didn't know her husband once hit her in the elevator last week. Everyone noticed something was different. "Good morning, Mrs. Harris," the receptionist stammered, nearly dropping her pen. Emma smiled politely. But it wasn't her usual smile. This one said, "I'm watching. And I know things." She entered the conference room for the quarterly board meeting. Michael walked in 10 minutes late, holding a Starbucks cup like it was a trophy. He greeted the board members loudly and sat at the head of the table. Emma sat beside him. Calm, quiet, focused. Things were going smoothly until a client brought up a delay in payments. Michael fumbled. That's not. We're currently reviewing." Emma gently slid a report across the table. Page 3. "It was processed last Thursday," she said, not looking at him. The client smiled. Yes. "Thank you, Mrs. Harris." Michael's jaw tightened. His hand slid under the table. He pinched her leg. Hard. Emma blinked once. No reaction. She slowly reached under the table, grabbed his wrist and twisted it, not too much, just enough to make him flinch. He dropped his pen. Emma kept talking like nothing happened. By the end of the meeting, 3 people had secretly passed her business cards under the table. They were impressed by her poise, her knowledge, and how she carried herself like a true boss. Michael looked irritated, but he couldn't say anything. Not there. Not with all those eyes. But Emma knew what was coming. That night, as she got ready for bed, Michael stormed into the room. "What was that today?" he yelled. "Showing off in front of my board? My board. My company. Always my." Emma turned slowly. "You mean fixing your mess again?" His face turned red. He raised his hand. She didn't flinch. She stared right into his eyes and said calmly, "Hit me again, and I swear I'll press charges. You won't see the outside of a courtroom for years." He froze. For the first time, he looked scared. She walked past him, brushing his shoulder. "And check your underwear drawer. Found something interesting while cleaning." He didn't sleep in the bed that night. Emma did. Soundly. Michael didn't sleep in the bed that night. Emma woke up refreshed. Peace was new to her. It felt strange at first, like she was missing something. Then she realized what was missing. The fear. She made coffee. For herself. Just 1 cup. Michael's favorite mug sat there empty. When he finally walked in, eyes puffy and hair wild, he didn't speak. He looked like someone who'd seen a ghost. Emma took a slow sip. Good morning. He muttered something under his breath and walked past her. The tension in the house was thick, but Emma floated through it like air. She wasn't angry. She was focused. That week, she met with a lawyer. Quietly, she started moving her saved money into a secret business account. She called the clients who had given her cards and offered to consult behind the scenes. Every single one of them said yes. Turns out, people had been waiting for a way to work with her, without him. Emma started buying small shares in the company, using other names and fake partners. One of the names she used was Anna Bloom, her old online alias. She smiled when she signed the papers. Anna Bloom now owns part of your empire, Michael. He had no idea. Meanwhile, Michael was spiraling. He couldn't find that beach photo in his drawer anymore. Emma had taken it back, just to mess with his head. He searched for it like a madman. One night, she caught him tearing through the closet like a raccoon in a kitchen. Lose something? She asked, sipping tea. He glared. Don't play games with me, Emma. She tilted her head. Oh, darling, you started the game. That night, she slept like a queen. Again. Then came the moment that changed everything. A big investor dinner. Michael invited all the big names. Important people. Money men. Future partners. And, of course, Emma had to be there to play the perfect wife. She wore a black dress. Simple. Elegant. Dangerous. Dinner was going smoothly until someone asked a question about the company's expansion plan. Michael started talking, but it was obvious he had no clue what he was saying. He stuttered, made up words, said something about global networking through regional disconnection. Everyone blinked. The investor smiled politely and turned to Emma. Mrs. Harris? What's your take on it? Emma could have saved him. She'd done it before. But this time, she crossed her legs, looked directly at the investor, and said, Well, my husband doesn't know this yet, but I've already submitted a cleaner expansion proposal. Check your email. It's under Anna Bloom Consulting. Michael choked on his drink. Literally. Coughing. Red-faced. One investor checked his phone.
She's right.
This is brilliant. Emma stood up.
Calm. Poised.
I quit, Michael. I don't work for you anymore. In fact, as of this morning, I own 40% of the company. Surprise. The room went dead silent. Michael's face looked like someone had pulled the ground from under him. Emma smiled, not her usual smile. This one was cold.
Free.
Powerful. She picked up her purse, nodded at the room, and walked out like she'd been doing it all her life. Emma walked out of the investor dinner with her head held high and her heart pounding like a drum. The air outside felt cold, but it tasted like freedom. She didn't even wait for a taxi. She walked down the street, heels in hand, laughing quietly to herself. Not because it was funny, but because she had finally done it. She was free. She booked herself into a small hotel. The bed wasn't as soft as the one at home, but for the first time in years, she slept like a baby. No yelling, no fear, no bruises, just peace. Back at the dinner, Michael sat frozen. No words, no excuses, just silence. People avoided his eyes. Some whispered. A few board members left early. He tried calling her.
Once. Twice.
10 times. Emma didn't answer. In the days that followed, things fell apart for him. Clients started pulling out. Staff stopped showing respect. Investors wanted answers he couldn't give. The confidence he used to fake so well gone. He stood in his office one day, looking around like a lost child. And he realized something. He wasn't in charge. Emma had always been. Meanwhile, Emma kept moving. She got a lawyer, moved into her own apartment, opened her new business account. Her company, Bloom Consulting, was small but real. Clients who respected her started calling. Her first office was just a desk, a laptop, and a used coffee maker, but she smiled more there than she ever did in that big fancy house. One night, as she sipped tea by the window, she got a text. Michael, I'm sorry. Please talk to me. She stared at the screen, blocked the number. But life isn't always smooth. Starting a business was hard. Some days, She felt like giving up. Money got tight. One client ghosted her after 2 months of work. A partner pulled out last minute. She cried once in the bathroom, holding the sink, whispering, "Why does it still hurt?" She didn't miss Michael. She missed feeling safe, feeling loved, even if it was fake. But still, she pushed forward. Then, one afternoon, she bumped into a former assistant from Michael's company at the store. "He's not the same," the girl whispered. "He goes to therapy, volunteers with kids now. I think he's really trying." Emma didn't answer, just nodded and walked away. Later that night, alone in bed, she opened an email from an unknown address. It was from him. "Emma, you were always the smart one, the kind one. I treated you like a shadow, and you became the sun. I'm not asking for you back. I just wanted you to know I've changed.
For real this time.
Even if I'm the only one who ever sees it." She read it twice, then again a week later, then ignored it for 6 months. 6 months later, at a business event, she saw him. He looked thinner,
Softer. Different.
He didn't come over. He just looked at her and gave a small nod. She nodded back. 2 weeks after that, she found herself outside a bookstore in a small town. She didn't plan to go in, but she did. And there he was, sitting on the floor, reading a book to a group of kids, laughing with his eyes. He didn't see her at first. She watched quietly, waited until the kids left. Then she walked over.
Calm. Grown.
"You still read the words upside down?" she asked. He looked up.
Shocked.
Nervous. "You remember that?" "I remember a lot of things," she said. They sat outside, shared a bench. The sky was soft gray. "I'm not asking for a second chance," he said. "I just want to say sorry in person." "You already did," she replied. "And I'm not the same woman you knew." "I know." "I wouldn't dare ask her to come back to the man I used to be." Silence. Then she said, "But I might be open to meeting the man you are now." They met again a month later. For lunch, then coffee, then a walk.
Slow.
Careful. No promises. She made it clear. "You break me again, even once, and we're done forever." "I won't," he said. "Not because I'm scared to lose you, because I don't want to lose myself again." It took time. But one day, as they stood by the lake outside her apartment, he held her hand and whispered, "I still love you." Emma looked at him. Really looked at him. "I don't love who you were," she said. "But maybe, just maybe, I can love the man you're becoming." And this time, it wasn't about needing him. It was about choosing him. On her terms. With her strength. With her peace. 1 month later, they both got back together and lived in the same house again. One day, she asked him, "Do you want to help out of the company?" Michael looked surprised. "You trust me with that?" Emma smiled. "I trust who you've become." He joined as an assistant consultant, starting small.
He didn't complain.
He didn't try to take over. He followed her lead and supported her quietly. He took calls, handled reports, arranged meetings, and always introduced her as my boss, and the woman who gave me a second chance. Clients respected that. So did Emma. As time passed, their company grew. Together, they opened 2 more offices in different cities. They trained young women and men to become strong, respectful leaders. At home, things were peaceful. No shouting, no fear, just laughter, calm dinners, long walks, and real conversations. Michael never raised his hand again. Not once. Instead, he brought her flowers every Friday. Not expensive ones. Just fresh ones, picked with care. Every morning, he made her coffee. Every night, he thanked her. "Thank you for not giving up on yourself," he would say. "Thank you for giving me another chance," he'd add. Emma never forgot what she went through. But she chose to move forward. Not because she needed love, but because this time, love chose her back, with peace, respect, and truth. And finally, they lived not just as husband and wife, but as partners. In business, in life,
And in peace.
That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, Kindly like, share your thoughts about the story in the comments section, and share this video with your friends and loved ones. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.